This is Don at Airbrush Technique magazine. Over the last 6-7 years of running the magazine support forum, the airbrush support forum at Airbrush Technique, we've heard time and time again, how do I take my airbrush apart? How do I put it back together? Most often, how do I put it back together? So I thought I'd throw this little video together on some different airbrushes, show you how to take it apart and put it back together. This is a Passche Talon. Take it apart to clean it. Pull your back handle off. Pull the chucking nut off. You want to put them in a bowl or something so they don't roll away and you don't lose them. Pull your needle out carefully. Now remove the trigger. The spring housing. The chucking nut needle guide and spring. In the front you can remove your air cap or your needle cap, then the air cap, and use your little wrench from Passche to remove the tip. Now to reassemble it after you've cleaned it, the first thing you want to do is put the trigger back in, and the trigger has a little slot in it. You want to put that slot so it's facing the front and the back of the airbrush. With the trigger installed properly, it'll go up and down on the spring. It'll spring back up. Next thing you want to put back in is the needle chucking guide. It has the little round part on the very top. That's going to go behind the trigger. Keep your finger on the trigger and put this in at an angle. And as that part comes up behind the trigger, you know it's in properly. Put your spring on. Put your spring housing on. Screw it in. Make sure you don't get it cross-threaded. Now moving to the front of the airbrush, we'll put the tip back in. Make sure that the rubber gasket or the seal is here. Use your wrench you got with your Talon to tighten it down. It doesn't need to be tightened much. Just a little. Put the air cap back on. Put the needle cap back on. It just screws on. Make sure when you screw these on that you're not cross-threading them. Now we'll put our needle back in. Push it all the way to the front till you feel it hit the tip. Needle chucking nut on. Screw that in place. Back handle. Make sure the gasket's in there. Now as you push up and down on the trigger, or pull back and forth on the trigger, you should see the needle moving in the front of the airbrush. Hook it up to your air, you should be all set. This is Don at Airbrush Technique magazine, airbrushTechniqueMagazine.com, the best airbrush magazine published. For further support with your airbrush questions, visit airbrushTechnique.com. Thank you.